new effects in 9. So really, we're going to focus on just these two right here because these are two of the coolest effects that they've added. The Stereo Shaper is free for all versions, and the Vocodex is free with the Producer's Edition, which is actually a pretty nice addition to get. But these two things here we're going to spend a lot of time with throughout this because they do some pretty unique things. The vocoder is pretty much a standard vocoder, except it's added a lot of little details which make it really great. Has a built-on synthesizer, so you don't necessarily need to sidechain it with anything. You can just play it with itself and then vocode with voice or drums or whatever. So it's very powerful, really nice addition, sounds amazing. The Stereo Shaper, in terms of this kind of tool, there's very few other software packages that have something that does everything that this does, including some of the implications with mastering, which we talk about. There's a whole section on both of these, and we really go into a lot of detail. So some really exciting stuff coming down the pipeline in terms of effects. Now again, as we talked about with the generators, there's a number of revised plugins and things that they've really been working on. So for instance, we have the limiter, which has compressor section now with sidechaining, a lot of stuff with sidechaining, and that just refers to the plugin being on one channel and accepting input from another channel in the mixer so that you can combine those things and really work with them. So like the Fruity Reverb 2 has a mid-side input processing, which is a little bit related to sidechaining, and then we also have the Fruity Wrapper, which has been improved. But one thing I do want to talk about in terms of the Producer's Edition and the new setup that they've got going on with those editions is that you can get the Maximizer as well for a very good price. So the Maximizer is another effect which isn't new, but it's bundled now with one of the top bundles and is definitely worth getting. Okay, so a lot of stuff happening with these. We're going to go over a number of these different things and talk about how you're going to use them, etc. So go to those different sections if you're looking to see just how these two work or the other ones that have been refined work as well. Okay, let's go back to the history for a second. Because I do want to just point out just exactly how much they've worked on some of these things. So again, you can see the additions, and a number of them have to do with like the generators or other features there. But let's pull this down a little bit. The 9.0 here has a ton of different things. A lot of them don't have to necessarily do with the effects themselves, but a number of them have to do with using the different effects. So for instance, working with effects windows and the shells that are there, just really going through and having more efficiency and fixing bugs, etc. It just makes it really nice. So a lot of things like added multi-threading to effects processing. So now we've got multi-threading for that, which is really helps the efficiency of your processing, etc. It makes things a lot smoother, and you can run bigger sessions, etc. So a number of different things. I would really recommend looking through this list because some of these things are too small to really focus on in a course of this scope, but you're definitely going to want to go through and just see what has changed since previous versions. If you're just using this for the first time, many of these things won't even make any sense to you because you won't know the difference. But it is nice that they do a good job making this list. I know a number of other software programs that when they do an update, you have to really find these things by yourself. They don't provide a list like this. So this is one of the great things about ImageLine and FL Studio, that they've made a big deal about this. So really just pointing this out and talking about overall things. We're going to get into many of these new things throughout the overall scope of this course.